No, guys, your eyes and ears are not deceiving you. Dave and Mike Reviews is back. I'm Dave, and with me is the man with the master plan, I've heard. Mike, how's it going, mate?
Hey, Dave. That was the best introduction I think we've ever had on a Mike and Dave or Dave and Mike Reviews.
Yeah, it could be Mike and Dave if you want.
No, it's Dave and Mike. It's Dave and Mike Reviews. It's Dave and
Totally agree, actually. I mean, I actually listened and watched some of our earlier videos, and the introductions on those were short, sweet, and the less said about those, the better. But Mike, you're back. Tell us about the game you have chosen for us to cover.
Okay, so for this episode, we have Beneath a Steel Sky on the Amiga, and it's Dave has recorded the footage, guys, so it's Dave playing this, not me. I'll quickly ask Dave, is Amiga version yet or Amiga CD?
So this is the Amiga version, so this is the same standard version you played back in the day, Mike. Now, Tell everybody about the discs, because you've explained this to me off air about how many discs and disc swapping and whatever else.
Well, I'll give you a quick background. So a kid in my class at school had found out that I just acquired an Amiga Home Computer. We're going back to the 90s now, guys. I'm kind of showing my age here. This kid in my class quickly offered me a game that he didn't enjoy called Beneath a Steel Sky. So, of course, he wanted cash for it. So I offered him the little pocket money that I had to my name, and he accepted. And the game, to my surprise and shock, was on 15 discs.
15 discs?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
If you compare it to something like, I'll put another point and click game, which you will all be aware of, Secret of Monkey Island. That was a few years before OK, but that came on just 4 discs.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
15 discs.
Yeah, it was a pretty big game.
And also, as we know, Amiga discs and Amiga disk drives could be a bit finicky, couldn't they?
They could. I never finished this game, so I'll never know if some of the later discs even worked, because going back to Secret of Monkey Island, Disc 4 used to crash for me when I got to the actual island, Monkey Island, so I never completed that either. So who knows if Bass would have been the same. But yeah, Dave, what do you think of this game then? How much have you played of it?
I haven't played it for too long because I got stuck quite early on, as occasionally I used to do with these point-and-click games. Don't get me wrong, it looks awesome, and the music as well, and the sound effects are really awesome. Yeah. But I got stuck very, very early on. I remember telling you over WhatsApp that I got to a point, which is the furnace, and I got stuck. I didn't know where else to go from there.
This game was hard. It was harder. Now, I'm going on memory here. I haven't played Beneath the Steel Sky for a long time. But this game was harder than the likes of Monkey Island. I'm going to keep referencing Monkey Island because we've got to. Because they were similar. Visually, they were quite similar. The different coloured sort of fonts and stuff, depending on who you talk to, that kind of thing. The guys who made this game, I personally think borrowed a lot from the other point and clicks at the time. Revolution Software, famous for Broken Sword, basically.
Oh yeah, Broken Sword, because that was also another point and click series. There was 2 of those games, I think, wasn't there?
Yeah, they're the guys behind Beneath the Steel Sky, and it's an awesome game. Do you like it, or did you enjoy your time with it?
Yeah, I actually did quite enjoy it. I found it interesting, and I just wish that I could get past the bit with the furnace, because there's a guy that gets mentioned early on that you're supposed to try and find, and it would have been awesome to have seen what happened after that.
Oh, yeah, I love this bit. When you hide behind the door, man, this is bringing back so many memories.
You hide behind the door. Now, you mentioned to me, and you asked me, Amiga CD32 or Amiga. Which version was it? Now, guys, just to let you know, the Amiga CD32 version has speech. It's not just text on the screen. They actually talk. They actually, yes. And it's awesome. It's such a shame that when I was trying to capture Amiga CD32 footage, it all went a bit wrong. So this is from my Amiga 500 Plus with all the add-ons inside it.
Have you heard any of the speech in it at all?
In the Amiga CD32 version, yeah. And it actually sounds pretty good. It's not bad at all. And it's a benefit, really, of having CD rather than 15 floppy disks.
Sure, of course, yeah. I was going to say, or I was going to ask, I wonder how many voice actors they got in for this game, because there's quite a few characters in it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear all the different voices as you progress into the game. But yeah, I'd need to figure out where to go from the furnace.
So, I love this game. It's probably, I'd say it's one of my, if not my, it is. It's my favourite Amiga game. It definitely is. It's just, and guys, for you that don't know and you're watching this, I'll give you a quick background on it. Basically, Beneath a Steel Sky was or is set in a dystopian universe. in a heavily urbanized metropolis called Union City. And basically, it's your job, the player's job, to guide Robert, or Foster as he's referred to throughout the story, throughout this weird and wonderful landscape, talking to various NPCs. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but yeah, it's set in a cyberpunk universe. I love the whole atmosphere of it, and the art style I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was impressed with the graphics. I thought it looked decent on the Amiga. I like the sound, I love the music. Like you say, the atmosphere of the game is really, really good. It definitely seems like it would be my kind of game if I could get past the bit I've got stuck at. But then, let's face it, that's half the fun. Back in the day, you'd get stuck on a point and click. It used to happen to me on Monkey Island as well. This game does look really, really good. Now, how far do you remember getting into this without giving away any spoilers?
I was just going to say, I can't remember. I can't even remember the furnace you keep referring to. I'd be interested to see what you mean there. I remember talking to a guy called Lamb. Getting to a guy called Lamb. Did you get to him?
No, that was the guy who gets referenced by the caretaker who walks in out in the moment, or the guy in the workshop. I didn't get to him.
I kind of remember, and you have to give him a gristle sandwich to progress. I always remember that sort of making me laugh. Right. I think I got a good halfway through this game. It's big.
It is a big game. The Amiga CD32 version was 90-odd megabytes, but we've got to factor in there was voice acting and the voice samples as well. But
sure.
I was quite surprised, yeah. I like this bit where I'm stood on the elevator that's not designed for humans, it's designed for robots.
Yeah, it's cool. Oh, that guy, man. Is that the caretaker you were talking about?
I think he's a mechanic or a caretaker. He's the guy who I spoke to, and he mentioned the name Lamb, I think, when I was asking him questions about what to do next. But it's pretty cool. I did enjoy that. There's some good humour in this, isn't there?
There is, yeah. There's some dark comedy in it. Going back to the caretaker, please tell me he's Scottish. I can only imagine the voice actor, the voiceover for him's got to be Scottish. He just looks Scottish.
I can't remember. I'm sure I saw him on the Amiga CD32 version, but I can't remember what his accent was like, so I can't really tell you whether it was Scottish, Irish, Welsh, Geordie, or any of those.
Because he looks a little bit like Sean Dyche. It'd be amazing if Sean Dyche actually did the voice for him. Perhaps he did before he got into football management, but man, I remember this room. This is just like, it still looks good. A lot of Amiga games hold up well to this day.
Yeah, you'll find a lot of 2D games, because obviously this is a 2D game. They hold up very well. And if they're remade, which I'm going to come on to remakes and maybe even sequels in a moment, generally you'll find remakes of 2D games stand up nicely. They look pretty even on a 4K screen.
Really? I haven't seen an Amiga running on 4K TV at all.
Well, I've seen it obviously upscaled using my scaler, which we're doing here. I'm saying also, you've played games like Mega Man, Anniversary Collections and other things, haven't you, on PS4 and Xbox One, and they generally look pretty good, pumped up on the big screen.
Yeah, that's it surprises me. I've got to say, it does surprise me. I need to play more retro games. I do, especially stuff like this, because I could sink my teeth into this game. Is probably why I didn't do that well in my GCSEs, because I was playing a lot of this game until late at night when I should have been studying and revising.
Yeah, you're similar to me in terms of there was always a couple of games that I used to play during my study periods, and it was hilarious. I'd get friends round. Not much studying got done, but a lot of games playing got done. No,
I mean, it kind of... Beneath a Steel Sky kind of shaped a lot of point and clicks. It was just awesome. I mean, the budget for this game, I remember reading, was it only cost just 40,000 Great British pounds to make. If you consider that compare that to the likes of Indiana Jones, Fate of Atlantis, they, like Lucasfilm games, they had huge budgets for their point and clicks in the 90s.
And it's unbelievable when you contrast that to games today, because games today, they cost multi-million pounds to produce and develop. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Revolution Software, they're just a really small UK-based team, and it's nice because I googled them the other day because I knew we would be doing this video, and it was nice to find out they're still going, they're still Revolution, they haven't sold their souls to EA or Ubisoft, that they're still doing what they do and what they love. I love that.
And they're also UK based too, because you find a lot of developers these days, they get bought out by bigger developers, and that's it. That's the last you ever hear of them.
Yeah, a lot of them in America and France for some reason. A lot of big developers and publishers are in France. But anyway, what was you going to say?
They are. Now, let me put this to you. A sequel to Beneath the Steel Sky. Is it going to happen? Tell me, Mike, what's going on?
I don't know, mate. I mean, Beneath the Steel Sky is like everyone used to talk about it in the 90s and say, yeah, this game needs a sequel. It's little bit like Half-Life. Everyone's like, we need a Half-Life 3. Beneath the Steel Sky, year after year after year, and everyone was like, nah, we're never going to get one. It's just like Revolution Software always used to say, no, Broken Sword is our flagship game. We're happy with that. We're not thinking about doing another Beneath the Steel Sky. But, Dave, I think you've got an update on that.
There is going to be a sequel to Beneath the Steel Sky. Now, this is kind of freaky. This is freaky because me and Mike talked about the idea of doing Beneath the Steel Sky. Yeah. And I actually sort of randomly said to him over WhatsApp, how about a sequel? What would you think? And you weren't sure, were you, about a sequel? You thought they might ruin a sequel to this game.
Yes. It depends. It depends on how they approach it. If they kind of keep the retro edge... yeah, it'll be fine. If they go full-on nuanced, modern, like they completely do away with the RPG, not the RPG, the point-and-click element, the adventure element. If they completely do away with that and give you guns and make it into a kind of just a cyberpunk shooter, nah, I'm not interested.
Nah, surely they can't do that because that would absolutely derail Beneath the Steel Sky, the first game, because it's totally different. It's
got a cult following as well, so it would piss off the fans. What do you know about this sequel? I take it's going to be developed by the same guys.
It's developed by the same developers. So, as you said, Revolution is still around. They're the ones that are going to be bringing this game to us. All I know is that it's going to appear on next generation. Well, I say next generation. It's now current generation platforms. So we're going to see it on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how a point and click will work with a controller, though.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. No mention of Nintendo Switch. I couldn't see it on there anyway.
I couldn't see anything about the Switch, but I'd be surprised if they didn't put it on Switch because, let's face it, the Switch has done very well and this game would work fine. In fact, it worked more than fine because you could use the touchscreen. You could use the touchscreen
and it's a perfect game to play when you're traveling, or do you know what I mean? With that device on that platform, it would, like you say, it would work really well. It's interesting. I wonder. I do wonder if it will be a £40-50 job, a full price job, or will it be a budget sort of £15 job?
I have a feeling it'll be somewhere in the middle, and it's not going to be full price, but it's also not going to be budget because
they know it'll sell. They know it will sell.
It'll be somewhere in the middle, but. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Beneath the Steel Sky 2, or whatever they're going to call it, because it'll have some of the tagline, I'm sure, some of the title. And I only hope, fingers crossed, guys and girls, that it doesn't get spoiled.
My wife told me about the Beneath the Steel Sky sequel. She'd read about it, and apparently you don't play as Robert Foster, this guy.
Okay.
The protagonist in the first one. That's all I kind of know about it. And what platforms it's going to be on. I'm going to get it. I'm going to pick it up for the Xbox or the PS4 and see what it's all about. But yeah, going back to the original, man, this is just like, I can't believe how good this still looks. It really does. It really does look like a nice game.
Yeah, like you said, Amiga games, they still hold up well. I still love the art style of these sorts of games too. I mean, even Monkey Island, to a degree, still looks decent. In fact...
It does, yeah.
We covered the adventure of Monkey Island all the way back, and I think, was it the third episode of David Might Review?
Yeah,
it was.
Secret of Monkey Island. I think that was the first time I visited your game room, and I think that's one of the first reviews we did, along with FIFA on the Amiga,
Trying to,
and Need for yeah. It's cool covering games like this. The only issue we kind of have, guys, sometimes with covering stuff like this, it's a bit of a slow burner. I mean, you're only going to get 3 or 4 screens worth of footage because Dave's trying to solve puzzles here. It's not like watching something fast action. So basically, you have to enjoy our voices and what we've got to say about it.
Exactly. I'm sure the guys and girls appreciate that we can't do a full-blown, this is the start of Beneath the Steel Sky, this is the end, and all the rest of it. But I'm going to do what Mike usually does. I'm going to ask Mike if he was to score this game out of 10, maybe even the younger Mike scores it out of 10 compared to today's Mike scores it out of 10. What would you give this game?
Okay, so I'd be reviewing the Amiga version. I'd be reviewing the disc version because that's what I owned, and that would have been the review copy at the time. I would have given it a 9 out of 10, a solid, 90%. And I won't give it a 10 because of the 15 discs, and it's a bit fiddly and all the loading.
Yeah. Okay. So is that the same as how you would have viewed it back in, I don't know, the 90s, the early 90s?
I would have, yeah, because it's still. I remember being overwhelmed by that amount of discs, and it's still, that would have been the case for me then. I mean, I can put up with 3 or 4 discs, but 15. Some of you watching this would be like, yeah, you're nitpicking. That's just how it was in the 90s. I respect that, but it was still a lot of bloody discs.
It was. Now, for myself, it would be unfair of me to score it because I haven't played enough of it or for long enough, so I won't score it. But all I will say is initially, I like the game very much, guys. If you're into point and clicks, if you've got some method of playing Amiga, whether it be a real one or an emulator or a Raspberry Pi or whatever, definitely check that game out because you'll love it. And as Mike says, it's 15 discs, so it's a pretty sizable game. I reckon you'll enjoy it as well. Mike, it has been an absolute pleasure having you back on David Mike Reviews again.
Loved it, mate. Loved talking about this game. Absolutely loved it.
We'll have some more lined up. In fact, we might jump to the NES, another one of Mike's favourite systems from back in the day.
Awesome.
We might cover an NES game on the next episode. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Take care.